Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now today I've got another video for you guys. Look at people just messaging me trying to ruin things. Let's try that again, okay? So before I go into anything else, I do have to talk to you guys a little bit about this hair, okay? I'm giving you guys a mini update because I did say that I was gonna update you guys very soon, so I thought why not do it right now. So as you guys know, I got this hair from All Shades Covered. I currently have Brazilian straight hair, 4 bundles of 22 inches, or was it 3 bundles of 22 inches? 4 bundles of 22 inches and an 18-inch closure. So yes, the hair is very full, but that is exactly how I like my hair. And let me tell you guys something. Let me genuinely tell you guys something. I am absolutely in love with the quality of this hair. I told you guys when I first got it that I loved it and it was beautiful. I showed you guys, I've got a video, if you haven't watched it already, I'll link it in the description box below, of the one and only Beverly, aka Macville, making this wig for me. She completely slayed this wig, and the hair was gorgeous. And I've had the hair for a couple of months now. I think that was like 2-3 months ago. I can't remember exactly when, but it has literally just been amazing. Barely shed. I don't have any issues with it. I can say actually one thing though is that there's some blonde bits that are starting to come through. I don't know where it's coming from, I don't know how, but there are a few blonde bits that are coming through. So I'm thinking of dyeing the hair. And again, I think I might do like another little review after I've maybe dyed it, but I like natural kind of like black brown looking hair anyway, so who knows if I'll actually do that. The hair really is gorgeous. Literally, I have no complaints. It makes me feel fabulous. So of course I've got that discount code for you beautiful people. It is Nissy15 and that gives you 15% off of your order. So make sure you type that in and use that to save yourself some money. I'm gonna leave the link to everything in the description box below. People are forever asking me on Snapchat, Instagram story, everything. People just be asking me questions about this hair. All the information is in the description box below. Trust me, go and get yours because I can't lie. So now into the main gist of this video, tips and advice for going on holiday on your own. Now, as you know, a few months ago, it was last year, September time, I went on my first ever solo trip. I went to Greece by myself. Where did I go? Oh, I can't remember the name. So I went to Corfu, or Kerkira, as Greek people would actually call it. I don't know why we changed the names, but Kerkira, for about 4 days. I went completely solo. That was literally a decision that I just made a few, like maybe 3-4 weeks before I actually went. At this point, I just needed some time to go somewhere by myself, just to breathe. I needed some time to be away from people. Like obviously you guys know all the different things, the various things that I do, and they all involve talking to people, being around people, having to engage in conversation with people. And yes, I do love it, but it can be very tiring. So obviously it was during kind of like to the end of the year. I was wrapping up an internship that I was doing during the summer as well. And I was just like, I just need to go on holiday by myself. I just need to clear my head of all the stuff that had been going on in the year. You guys know the various different things that went on, from people passing away in my family to just nonsense happening, and I just needed a break. And I decided that I was gonna take my ass and go on holiday by myself. My parents were very shocked. My parents were just like, why? And like, why? I don't know if they thought I was lying and they thought maybe I was going off on holiday with some guy or whatever. Literally, I just wanted to go somewhere by myself. I learned a lot while I was out there, and a lot of people have actually said, do you know what, I want to go on holiday by myself, and this is something that I want to do before I like pass away, like on my bucket list. But do you have any tips and advice to help me so that it's a safe and a good trip? And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna film a video to help you guys. So when I went to Greece, I had never been to Greece in my entire life. I'd only seen it in pictures, and I knew that this is where I wanted to go. Kind of to give you a little bit of background as well, how I picked my holiday, I used Teletext Holidays. Teletext Holidays is this really cheap website that finds you the cheapest holidays. So when we went to Morocco, that was through Teletext Holidays, and when I went to Greece, Teletext Holidays, and they do package deals. So I booked everything via Teletext Holidays. I literally booked my flights, hotel, transfers, and everything in between was all done via Teletext Holidays. I'll leave their link in the description box below. No, they're not sponsoring me for this video. No, they're not offering me anything. But listen, Teletext Holidays, if you want to sponsor me, you want to collab, you want to do something, my friend, we can do this together, okay? Holla at your girl. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did have an issue with them when we went to Morocco. I was very frustrated because there were certain things that they didn't tell you about. So for example, obviously, now I know because I'm wiser, but at the time, when you go to a different country, a lot of the time there's a tax that they add to your stay. So for example, you go to the hotel and they'll be like, yeah, you have to pay £50 or 50 whatever currency they use because of the tax that they have. And that's just something that different countries have. Now I didn't know that, and obviously Teletext hadn't advised me about that, they hadn't told me about that, and I was quite frustrated, and I kind of saw it as like a hidden charge. And one thing that I hate is when people hide stuff from me. So for me, I was kind of like really angry at Teletext. And also something had to be changed, i.e. someone couldn't come on the holiday anymore, and they just made it a very long and difficult process to try and change things. So unless you're like really sure and set and know exactly where you're going, I would just suggest that maybe like wait until you're 100% sure, because I don't know how they are now, but it literally got to a point I was so frustrated. Like I had to talk to people at headquarters. I didn't want to talk to any of the like members of staff anymore. And me, I don't business when it comes to customer service. Anyone that knows me knows I don't business. I didn't have that problem when I went to Greece because it was just me, myself, and I didn't have to change anything. The customer service was amazing. They were friendly, they were lovely. They did everything like that. So second time around, no issues at all. I stayed in Greece for 4 days. I didn't know a soul out there, didn't know anyone, wasn't going to meet anyone out there. I literally was going and taking myself to the unknown. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to find. I just knew that I had to go somewhere to just clear my mind and really refresh myself mentally, spiritually, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. I just had to replenish and re-cleanse and just go somewhere to breathe. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the main kind of bits of information that you should know. Right, I'm gonna be looking at my phone because I wrote down some of these tips so I don't forget anything. So tip number 1, do your research. Of course, I know that sounds very blatant, it sounds very obvious, but sometimes we forget. You might get excited in the heat of the moment, see a holiday that you really want and like, bam, yes, I'm going here. No, please make sure you sit back, relax, and do lots and lots of research. Research where you're going, research where you're gonna be picked up in terms of transfers, research your hotel, look at reviews. Reviews are very important. I made sure that I looked at reviews, and if my hotel had even one bad review, I wouldn't stay at that hotel. So I just made sure that I looked for reviews, I, made sure I did the necessary research in order to ensure that I was safe. Tip number 2, take out insurance. This is very, very important. Insurance is very cheap, okay? You can get literally insurance for about £5. It is nothing. £5 and it covers you quite well. Look at what you're being covered for as well. I made sure to look at what I was being covered for. I took out like some £5 insurance on comparethemarket.com, and I knew that I was being covered for like damage or loss of like baggage and that kind of stuff, or if something was to have happened, obviously I was, there was a lot of coverage basically and a lot of money that I could have been compensated if anything happened. So please make sure you get insurance. You don't want to take that risk. Tip number 3, if you are a drinker, don't get drunk. Now, I don't drink anymore anyway. I did drink, but I don't drink anymore. So I never had this issue anyway. So even when I was out, or even at the hotel when I was at the bar or whatever, I didn't drink. So I never had that worry of like, oh, I might get too drunk, or oh, I don't know. I just never had that. Do you know what I mean? That worry. But if you are a drinker, I'm not saying to you, don't, go on holiday and just don't drink. Like if you drink, then cool, but just don't get drunk. You are by yourself. Anyone could do anything to you, anyone can take you anywhere, and that goes hand in hand as well with making sure that you're doing things, little things to look after yourself. Like, if you have a drink, make sure your hand is always covering the drink. Like I always made sure that my drink was in my vision, and I would never leave a drink on the side, or like and go and do something and come back and then continue drinking the drink, or I would never, I would always make sure that I know where the drink is coming from. So if the person at the bar was serving me a drink, I would be watching them to make sure that, because you never know, people in different countries, like, or even just people in general are crazy. You don't know, someone could just drop something in your drink, and you don't want that to be you. Just play it safe in that sense, and just don't get drunk. You are by yourself. There's no friend to look after you. There's no one to kind of clean up after you. There's no one to make sure you get into bed okay and that no one does anything to you. So just make sure you don't get drunk. It will save yourself just a horror story. I don't want to be hearing any horror stories, so please don't get drunk. Tip number 4, don't tell people your address or where you're staying, or bring people back to your place. That is so important. So if you go out and you meet some people, and yeah, you could meet people and people could be very friendly, but you don't need to be telling them where you're staying or where you're living, or even getting them to drop you back to where you're staying. Yes, they could be very lovely, amazing people, but at the same time, you don't know what they are capable of. You don't know who they are. You've just met them. So please, don't be bringing people back to your place. Don't be trying to buddy, friendly with every single person that you meet. Like, obviously, you guys know how I am. I'm a very, like, engaging, bubbly person. I love talking to new people, but I always, you know, made sure I kind of felt people out a little bit. I wasn't like talking to any Tom, Dick and Harry and random people. Tip number 5, this is very important. Be vigilant at all times. Be aware of your surroundings. Literally, wherever you go, make sure you are fully aware of where you are, what's around. Something that I would suggest you do is look out for landmarks so that you don't get lost. Be vigilant, especially for ladies. If you have like a bag, like a handbag, be vigilant at all times. You know, there's pickpocketers everywhere. Just make sure you got your bag next to you. Make sure you have a zip-up bag, a bag that zips up. And yeah, just make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Don't be like, oh la-di-da, like, oh, floating around everywhere, not really caring what's going on. Be vigilant, please. Tip number 6, make sure you have data and enough money. Again, very important. So data in terms of your phone data. If you still buy credit, I don't know who still buys credit in 2017, but if you still buy credit, make sure you have credit. If you're on contract, make sure you've paid your bills so they don't cut off your line while you're on holiday, okay? Make sure you have data, because if worse comes to worse, you need to call somebody, whether it be you need to call someone back home or you need to call someone, you know, I don't know, where you are. Just make sure you're prepared for anything. And of course, enough money is just, that's just an obvious, but again, just make sure you have enough money, because you never know what could happen. Make sure you also spread your money between having it in like a bank account and having it on you. Don't carry a stupid amount of money on you, because God forbid, if you get robbed, that might be all your money gone. So if you know that, let's say you go on holiday and you want to have, I don't know, £200 spending money, £300 spending money, or however much money you want to have, maybe have like a quarter of that you carry around with you just in case you can't get to a bank, but then have the rest of it obviously on your bank account, so that if you were to get robbed, you still have more money. Tip number 7, make sure you have a battery pack in case your phone dies. Again, just to make sure you have access to people. These things tend to die a lot, especially when they get older. iPhones, they tend to die. So I would suggest, I didn't actually have a battery pack, but I have 2 phones. So I still have my old iPhone, and I just made sure that both were charged at all times, so that if I did go out and this one was to die, I could literally just take my SIM out and put it into the other phone, and I knew that I had a working phone that I could get in contact with someone really quickly with. So either have 2 phones if you've got them, or if not, just buy yourself a battery pack. You can get them online from eBay, Amazon for really cheap. Tip number 8, let people know where you are. So of course, maybe you speak to one of your parents like every day or something. Just make sure you let them know like what you're going to be doing during the day, or where you're going to be. As long as you're letting somebody, even if it's not necessarily 5-6 people, as long as you're letting somebody know where you're going and what you're doing, and they have like a rough idea of what you'll be doing, that really does help. Because God forbid, but if something happens to you, they would be able to be like, okay, I spoke to them and they were in this place, and that could literally make a huge difference. Tip number 9, make sure you have your hotel numbers and important numbers at all times. This one Mandy actually suggested to me, and I think again is very important. Just in case you need to contact your hotel, just make sure you have that number, and any important numbers, whether it be the local services, like the local emergency services, or I don't know, so your hotel or a local taxi service, just in case you get stuck somewhere, just those kind of things. Make sure you have those important numbers. And last but not least, tip number 10, have something that has all your details inside your purse or luggage. So again, this one was actually from Mandy as well, so shout out to Mandy for helping me out. But she basically said how having like you know those things where you have like a card or whatever and you fill out your details, so it will say like your name, your address, your number, kind of like ID but not ID, so that if your bag or something was to get stolen or you were to lose it, someone could have a point of reference, somewhere that they could send it to or find a way to get to you. But also just in case, God forbid, something happens to you, you know, people, you know, again, this will not happen to you in Jesus' name, but for example, if something happens and you are unconscious or you end up in hospital, something like that, someone could look in your bag and find your details and be able to get in contact with the necessary people to get in contact with. So again, it's just basically a way of just keeping yourself safe, just in case. The thing about traveling by yourself as well is that you do have to do things just in case. You do have to be that little bit extra, just because you are by yourself. You know, you're not with another person that can help you out of a sticky situation or make sure that you're okay, or you help make sure that they're okay. You are literally by yourself in a foreign land. So I would just say go the extra mile to be safe at all times. I'm not saying be a complete control freak. Obviously enjoy yourself, enjoy your holiday. That's what it's there for. But yeah, just be extra safe. That's all I can say to you. But I think those are the main things. The only other thing that I would say to you is enjoy yourself, have fun, make sure you go out there ready to really just relax and to enjoy a completely different experience. I know that at some point I want to travel by myself again. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know that I definitely want to travel by myself again, because traveling by myself was just the best experience. If you are somebody that has traveled by themselves before, or you travel by yourself regularly, please do leave your tips, advice, all in the comment section below. Let's share those tips and advice to help each other, to make sure that we keep each other safe. That's the main thing. So guys, those were my top 10 tips and advice on having a safe but also an enjoyable solo trip. Make sure you take those extra precautions to look after yourself, and most importantly, make sure you have fun. I really hope that you enjoy this video. I hope that I've helped you as well to make sure that you have an amazing solo holiday. If you haven't done it already, please go and do it. It is the most amazing, fulfilling thing ever. Like, it was literally the best thing that I have probably ever done. But any of you beautiful people, I'll see you guys again in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as always. Stay beautiful. I'm getting really tired now. Oh, we gotta look at that. I need to buy a new lens, because like this lens is just not cutting it anymore. Anyone wanna donate me a lens? Anyone wanna buy me a lens? Anybody? Anybody gonna buy me a lens? Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Pew pew pew.